Hello. So we're now at chapter 54, Children, Blood and Bone. We're in Enid's perspective. The air of the dreamscape hums like a melody, soft, resonant. As it sings, my eyes trail Zelly's bare skin through the lake. Like a black-feathered swan, she glides above the shimmering waves, face at ease, an expression I've never seen. It's like for one single moment, the whole world doesn't weigh on her shoulders. She dives down for a few seconds and resurfaces, lifting her black face to the rays above. With eyes shut, her lashes seem to never end. Her coils look like silver against her skin. When she turns to me, my breath catches. For a moment, I forget how to breathe and to think. I once thought she wore the face of a monster. You know, it's creepy if you just watch. A grin crawls into my face. Is that your clever way of getting me to join you? She smiles, a beautiful smile. With it, I glimpse the sun. When she turns, I long for that glimpse again. The warmth that spread through my bones. With that urge, I remove my shirt and jump in. Zelly sputters and spits at the wave that hits when I crash through the rippling water. The current pulls me under with unexpected strength. I kick and push back until I break to the surface. As I swim away from the waterfall's roar, Zelly studies the forest behind us. Its end stretches farther than I can see, far beyond the white border that sat on the lake's bank the last time. I take it this is your first time in the water, Zelly calls out. What gave it away? Your face, Zelly answers. You look stupid when you're surprised. A smile spread on my lips, one that's coming more and more often in her presence. You rather enjoy insulting me, don't you? It's almost as satisfying as beating you with my staff. This time, it's she who grins. It makes my own smile grow. She jumps up and floats on her back, passing between the drifting reeds and floating lilies. If I had your magic, I'd spend all my time here. I nod, though I wonder what my dreamscape would look like without her in it. All I create are wilting reeds. With Zelly, the whole world flows. You seem at home in the water, I say. Surprised you're not a tighter. Maybe in another life. She runs her hand through the lake, watching as it slips through her fingers. I don't know why it is. I liked the lakes in Abaddon, but they were nothing compared to the ocean. Like sparks igniting a fire, her memory engulfs me. Her young eyes open wide, the awe of the never-ending waves. You lived in Abaddon? I drift closer, breathing more of her in. Though I've ventured to the northern village, Zelly's memories are so vivid it's as if I'm there now. I marvel at the stunning views from the mountaintop, inhale the crisp mountain air into my lungs. Her memories of Abaddon hold a special warmth, the blanket of her mother's love. I lived there before the raid. Zelly's voice falters as she relives the moment with me. But afterward, she shakes her head. There were too many memories. We couldn't stay. A pit of guilt opens in my chest, tainted with the smell of burning flesh. The fires I watched from the royal palace resurface. The innocent lives burned before my young eyes. A memory I've pushed down like my magic. A day I've longed to forget. But staring at Zelly now brings it all back. The pains, the tears, the death. We weren't supposed to stay in Alorim. Zelly speaks more to herself than to me. But then I saw the sea. She smiles to herself. Baba told me we never had to leave. In the dreamscape, Zelly's heartbreak hits me with unbearable force. Aloran was her happiness, and I burned it to the ground. I'm sorry. The words fight their way out. I hate myself even more as they ring. They sound so inadequate, weak in the face of her pain. I know I can't fix it. I can't change what I've done, but I can rebuild Aloran. When this is over, it'll be the first thing I do. Zelly releases a brittle laugh, dry, devoid of all joy. Keep saying naive things like that. You'll only prove to Zane right. What do you mean? I ask. What does he think? That when this is over, one of us will be dead. He's scared it'll be me. Okay, so we just finished chapter 54. So take a moment, summarize the chapter. What is it? Because remember, When Zelly prayed to her God, the God came to her and she saw her. But when Enon does it, he goes into the dreamscape. So how is this his relief? How is this helping him go into the dreamscape? And how are we continuing to see him grow? So now we're at chapter 55 in Zelly's perspective. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I baited Enon to jump in. I don't know why something in me flutters each time he swims near. This is temporary, I remind myself. This isn't even real. When this is over, Enon won't be wearing caftans. He won't be welcoming me into the dreamscape. I try to picture the feral warrior I know, the little prince who came at me with his sword. But instead, I see the blade that freed me from the mask's net. I see him standing up to Kwame's flames. He has a good heart. Amari's words from so long ago play inside my head. I thought she was in denial, but did she see the parts of him I couldn't? Zelly, I would never hurt you. He shakes his head and grimaces. Not after all I've seen. When he lifts his eyes to mine, the truth leaks through. I can't believe I didn't realize it before. The guilt and pity he's been carrying. Gods. He must have seen everything. I thought my father didn't have a choice. I was always taught that he did what he did to keep Arisha safe, but after seeing your memories, his voice trails off. No child should have to live through that. I turn back to the ripples in the lake, not knowing what to say, to feel he's seen the worst parts of me, parts I never thought I could share. My father was so wrong. Enon speaks so quietly the waterfall nearly drowns him out. Maybe I should have realized it earlier, but the only thing I can do now is try to make those wrongs right. Don't believe him, I warn myself. He's living in a fantasy, a dream. But with each promise he makes, my heart swells, secretly hoping even one of them holds the truth. When Enon looks up at me, I see a hint of the optimism that's always shining in Amari's eyes. Despite everything, he's determined to do this. He really wants Arisha to change. If Sky Mother brought the skull to you through a descendant of Sauron's blood, her will is clear. Lakin's words echo through my head as I stare at Enon, entranced by his strong jaw, the stubble lining his chin. If one descendant of Sauron's blood is supposed to help me, could the gods want Enon to rule and change the guard? Is that what we're doing here? Why they gifted him this magic? Enon floats closer and my heartbeat spikes. I should swim away, but I stay, cemented in place. I don't want anyone else to die, he whispers. I can't take any more blood on my family's hands. Pretty lies. That's all this is, but if they're just pretty lies, why can't I swim away? My God, is he even wearing clothes? My eyes comb over his broad chest, the curves of each muscle. But before I catch sight of anything under the water, I jerk my eyes up. What in Sky Mother's name am I doing? I force myself to swim through the waterfall until my back rests against the cliff's edge. This is absurd. Why did I let him bring me here? I hope the pounding water will keep Enon on the other side, but within moments, he swims through the cascading water to join me. Go. I order my legs to kick, but I'm ensnared by the soft smile on his lips. Do you want me to leave? Yes. It's what I need to say, but the closer he swims, the more something in me wants him to stay. He pauses before he's too close, forcing me to respond. Do I want him to go? Though my heart slams against my chest, I know the answer. No. His smile fades and his gaze grows soft. A look I haven't seen on his face before. When others look at me this way, I want to claw their eyes out, yet somehow under Enon's gaze, I want more. Can I? His voice trails off and his cheeks flush, unable to voice his desire, but he doesn't need words. Not when an undeniable part of me wants the same thing. I nod and he raises a shaking hand, brushing it against my cheek. I close my eyes, taken away by the rush of his simple touch. It burns through my chest, rages down my spine. His hand slides past my cheek and into my hair, his fingers tickling my scalp. Gods, if the guard ever saw this, I'd be killed on the spot. Even as a prince, Enon could be thrown in jail. But despite the rules of our world, Enan's other hand pulls me close, inviting me to let go. I close my eyes and lean in, closer to the little prince than I ever should be. His lips graze mine. Zelly! With a lurch, my body jumps back into the real world. My eyes snap open just as Tizane rips Enan away. He lifts him by the collar of his caftan and throws him to the ground. Tizane, stop! I scramble up, forcing my way between them. Stay away from my sister. I should leave. Enan looks at me for a moment before backing away into the trees. He grips the bronze piece tight in his hand. I'll be back at camp. What's wrong with you? I shout as Enan is out of earshot. Wrong with me, Tizane roars. Godsa, what the hell are you doing out here? I thought you could be hurt. I was trying to help him. He doesn't know how to control his magic. It causes him pain. For God's sake, he's the enemy. If he's in pain, that's better for us. Tizane, I know it's hard to believe, but he wants to fix Orisha. He's trying to make it safe for all the Magi. Is he brainwashing you? Tizane shakes his head. Is this his magic? You're a lot of things, Zell, but I know you're not this naive. You don't get it. I look away. You've never had to. You get to be the perfect Poseidon everyone loves. Every day I have to be afraid. Tizane steps back as if I've struck him. You think I don't know what it's like to wake up every day and worry it's going to be your last? Then give Enan a chance. Amari is only a princess. When magic comes back, she's not first in line. If I can convince the crown prince, we'll have the future king of Orisha on our side. If you could hear the dung you're spewing. Tizane pulls at his hair. He doesn't care about you, Zell. He just wants to get in between your legs. My face burns. Hurt twists with shame. This isn't Tizane. This isn't the brother I love. He's the son of a man who murdered Mama, for God's sake. How desperate do you have to be? You pine after Amari, I scream. How does that make you any better? Because she's not a killer, Tizane yells back. She didn't burn our village to the ground. The air around me hums. My heart pounds against my chest as Tizane's tirade continues. His words cut deep, sharper than any attack I've faced before. What would Baba say? Leave Baba out of this. Or Mama. Shut up, I shout back. The hum in the air rises to a fiery buzz. The darkest part of my rage simmers, though I try to fight it down. Gods, if she only knew she died so that you could be the prince's whore. Magic rushes out of me, hot and violent, raging without direction of an incantation. Like a spear, a shadow twists from my arm, striking with the fury of the dead. It all happens in a flash. Tizane shouts, I stumble back. When it's over, he grabs his shoulder. Blood leaks from under his grip. I stare at my trembling hands, at the wispy shadows of death that twist around them. After a moment, they fade, but the damage remains. Tizane, I shake my head. Tears spill from my eyes. I didn't mean to, I promise. I wasn't trying to. Tizane stares at me like he doesn't know who I am, like I'm a betrayal to everything we have. Tizane. He blows by me, face hard, unforgiving. I choke back a sob as I fall to the ground. Okay, so we just finished chapter 55, so we've added a new conflict into our quest here. So what is this new conflict, and what has caused this conflict, and how do you think it's going to continue to impact our characters here? So take a few minutes, do your summaries of your journals, and then be prepared to discuss these chapters in our next class.